Have you been checking your bank account 3 times a day, hoping the numbers will change? Today, I'm going to teach you how to be managing a 6-figure investment portfolio. And here's what nobody tells you about transforming your finances. I'm going to be showing you the exact 6-month system I've helped people use to go from financial anxiety to financial confidence, and why everything you think you know about finances and building wealth is probably wrong. I know what you're thinking. Another get-rich-quick scheme. I'm a former financial advisor and portfolio manager for 15 years, and I've managed several millions of dollars and worked with high net worth families that have operated businesses, lost wealth, regained their wealth, and everything in between. I'm going to break down the exact framework wealthy families use, the 3 psychological traps that 99% of people do that keeps them broke, and the one strategy that changed everything for me and my clients. With inflation hitting record highs, this system is more relevant now than ever. I've seen both sides, from being broke to managing over 100 million in client assets. These aren't theories, these are battle-tested strategies from the wealthiest families I've advised. Quick disclaimer, I'm sharing my observations and experience and not giving financial advice. Always consult with licensed professionals before making any financial decisions. Here's what shocked me the most about every wealthy family I advised. They never focused on budgeting. Instead, they used what I call the cash flow acceleration system. Month 1 of the transformation, for most clients, they stopped tracking every coffee purchase and started tracking cash flow patterns. Here's the framework. An income stream audit. List every way money comes in, whether that's your W-2 job, a side hustle, a weekend gig, or another business you might own. Step 2, your expense categories. Fixed, variable, and wealth building. These are crucial. And lastly, you want to focus on 50% of what your needs are, 30% on wealth building, and 20% on wants. This isn't about restriction, it's about acceleration. Wealthy families think in cash flow, not budgets. But here's where most people mess this up. And it's the reason why budgeting fails 90% of the time. The biggest difference between wealthy families and everyone else isn't money, it's psychology. They think in systems, not goals. 3 to 4, you're going to completely rewire your money mindset using what I've observed. Abundance, this is crucial. Wealthy families ask, how can I afford this? Not, I can't afford this. Investment versus expense. They see money spent on assets as investments, not costs. Long-term versus short-term. Every decision is filtered through, will this matter in 10 years? This psychological shift is why some people making $50,000 build wealth while others making $200,000 stay broke. And trust me, I've seen this a lot growing up in Miami. Here's something to keep in mind. Mindset alone is not going to get you there, though it is important. You need a tactical system that actually moves the needle and works for you and puts your money to work for you actively. It brings me to the exact money system that I've used and implemented with my clients, based on patterns I saw across wealthy families and everything in between. Your first couple of months 1 and 2, you want to focus on an emergency fund. This is the start. Some of you might be thinking, an emergency fund? I already have investments. That's fine, but we need to learn how to think about our money in different buckets. This is crucial. The emergency fund, if you don't have investments set aside, and even if you do, should exist. The emergency fund should consist of a minimum of $1,000. Secondly, you should automate all your bills and your savings. And thirdly, track your net worth weekly, not daily. Checking in daily is not going to help, but you must be checking in. What you don't measure, you don't track. Months 3 and 4, the acceleration phase. Increase income through skill development or side hustles. I know a lot of you have heard this, but we do live in a very connected economy today. There are more ways than ever to earn extra income, locally or online. Find what works for you, learn about your skill set, maybe focus on understanding where your strengths are and see where you can apply that. Every little bit helps. Optimize your tax strategy. This is crucial and where I see the vast majority of people overlook and get wrong. This can save you $1,000 all the way up to $100,000 every year, depending on where you are, where your income is, and where you're putting your funds. Not only that, some of these strategies will allow you to give back, which I feel is a vital part of earning money and putting money to work for you so you can also have impact and help others. And this helps you save more money. Most people are a little overwhelmed with where to invest. A common strategy used, not a recommendation, but is very accessible to everyone, are simply index funds. Why? Index funds track the largest and best companies. Some of you might have heard of the S&P 500, which is the largest 500 companies in the United States. There are a multitude of different index funds you can use to track this investment. These index funds consistently perform well over long-term periods in the market, and you can set it and forget it. There's a reason they exist, and they've performed so well over such a long time. Months 5 through 6, optimization phase. Build the emergency fund to 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So if you've been tracking your expenses weekly, you should have a better idea of what they look like. You can cut out some things, but this isn't necessarily about cutting everything out of your budget. You just have to know what you want to spend on and why. And then from there, make sure you have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. It's crucial. After that, continue to diversify your income streams. If you are self-employed and you own your own business, great. Look at how you can increase revenue streams from within your business. Create systems that run without your constant attention. You don't need to be wasting your bandwidth all the time thinking about your investments. Most of this can be automated, and there are so many amazing services that will help you do this with a few simple clicks. The important thing is to make progress, not to be perfect. Each phase builds on the last. It's a step-by-step process, and you want to improve gradually over time. And you can do this over 6 months. Now, here's the mistake that derails most people in month 3, and it's completely avoidable. After managing millions for wealthy families, I identified 3 patterns that separate those who build wealth from those who stay stuck. Waiting for the perfect investment or strategy. Everyone gets so focused on what's the best strategy. This is the largest trap I see. Truth is, taxes probably are the best strategy to focus on, and most people don't spend enough time there. The point is to get started. And again, index funds give you very broad exposure and keep you in the market, particularly if you're dollar cost averaging. Think about it like this. If the market is going down and you're buying on sale over the long term. Open up any chart of the S&P 500 and you will see that there are plenty of dips. Those have all been opportunities to buy at a discount, particularly because you're not using this money today or tomorrow. This is for the long term. The funds you're going to use potentially tomorrow are from the emergency fund. So your investment accounts should stay invested and you want to keep them invested. Wealthy families start with good enough and optimize as they go on. This is crucial. It's not about perfection. It's about getting started and being in the market. You want to have your assets working for you. Trap number 2, the lifestyle inflation trap. This is very common and I see this so often. Every raise or every bonus becomes a reason to celebrate and to spend more, when it should be a reason to invest more. Wealthy families increase the savings rate with income, not their lifestyle. Trap number 3, the comparison trap. Measuring success against social media highlights. And I realize the irony of saying this on social media, but stop looking at what everyone else is doing on social media and how they're doing. They all started somewhere. And this is the point of all of this, is to get started and keep the system working for you. Wealthy families also measure against their past selves and not others. The only thing that matters is where you've been and where you're going. That's it. It's very simple. And here's one strategy that accelerates results more than anything else. Continue to invest. Make sure it's the priority and pay yourself first. Then go to your wants. Here's what I learned managing portfolios for high net worth families. They never rely on one income source. The wealthiest families have income from multiple sources and multiple businesses, and this is for a few reasons. One of which being one of the most important ways to gain wealth, which I mentioned previously, is tax optimization. Owning businesses gives you an excellent way to keep more of your money, and also you employ other people. So you just increase the flow of money to you and to others. And I know what you're thinking. I've never started a business. I don't know how to start a business. Plenty of resources online on how to do so. And most people that do have businesses started without knowing too. You just have to take the leap. In months 3 to 6, I would say to focus on income acceleration. So focus on stacking skills, learning new skills that you can earn more income from. Solve problems that people actually pay for. We all have wonderful ideas about what the next greatest business is, but we want to focus on skills that actually pay and what people pay for. Treat income growth like a business, not a hobby. You can't outsave low income, but you can out-earn almost any expense. So there you have it, the exact 6-month system that transformed my clients' finances, not through get-rich-quick schemes or risky investments, but through proven strategies I've observed managing millions for wealthy families. Everything I just shared is useless if you don't know how to protect your wealth once you build it. Wealthy families I advised had one strategy they used to preserve wealth through market crashes, economic downturns, and even personal emergencies. And here's something I didn't mention at the start. Click like and subscribe and join my newsletter for more information like this on how I've advised wealthy families to automate their wealth, increase their wealth, optimize their wealth, and learned how to make money work for you. Thank you.